Well, how's it going, everybody? Hey guys, before we get going, let's have a look at a couple of things that we're going to use today, okay? We are going to use, we're going to go classic with our Weber grill. I always love using that thing. In fact, let's take 2 seconds here and get this guy all ready. So I'm going to go ahead, take that off, just like that. And I'm going to take these coals and I'm just going to put them kind of in the back. That's all I really need, just like that. And, oh, you know what? Let's just kind of, there we go. And it out just a little bit. There we are. And I'm going to use one of my favorite things in the world today, my grill mat. I love these things, all right? This is going to be for our salsa that we're going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that lid off. I don't need it, I don't think. All right, so we're going to use that today. Now we're also going to use, let's have a look-see here. We are going to use our Traeger. Man, I love my Traeger. Let's have a look here. This is a nice one, 500 and some square inches, does a great job. And the first thing we're going to have to do in that is get our nachos in. So like I said, first things first, we're going to eat some nachos because we are going to make some brisket nachos with fire roasted salsa today. We got everything we need here. We got everything from for our peppers. Now this is kind of a user's choice. You can you know, salsa's easy. You can put a little bit more tomatoes, a little more peppers, a little more jalapenos, whatever it is you like. There's some basics though: peppers, tomatoes, onions, garlic, cilantro. That's kind of what you're going to use. We're going to use my favorite blender. I love this thing. Vitamixes are awesome. What else? We got some cheese, some tomatoes. We're gonna have some fun here. So chips. I took a couple here just so it's not quite as boring and mixed them up. I got some thin and crispy and I got some black bean. So what we want to do is we want to get our cheese melting. All right, and we don't want to go crazy with this. We're going to go ahead about maybe a couple of cups. All right, that's all we're going to need here. Now you can go ahead and have fun with the cheese. Put a little bit of like mozzarella in there if you want a little bit of a pull. And I always like to give it a little bit of a jostle. Shake it up a bit. Shake it, shake it, shake it. All right, there we go. That way, cheese makes its way down. And if you want to make life a lot easier when it comes to cleanup and getting yelled at or in trouble, then I suggest that you line this thing with tin foil, because if you're like me, you're going to go ahead and you're going to melt all that cheese on there. You're going to forget you did it, and then you're either going to find it later with it all stuck to it and it doesn't soak, and you got to sneak and throw it out so nobody notices. It's a real mess. All right. Now we got to put a couple of things in the smoker. I'm going to put this in here first, okay? We're going to put that on the top level, just like that. That's our cheese sauce, okay? I want to get a nice smoke on that. And then, before we go ahead and put our nachos in, let's get our brisket ready, because I do want our brisket to heat up while it's in there, all right? So this is, you know, if you watch our show, you know we make a lot of brisket. And if you're like me, you can't eat an entire 17-pound brisket in one sitting, so you end up with a few leftovers. Am I right? So let's go ahead and give this a nice chop, just like that. And listen, I prefer always to use the lean cut of a brisket when I'm making stuff like this. You know, that fat part of a brisket, it's got its place. It's kind of better when it's nice and hot and you can pick that fat away. I'm not a big fan when it comes to doing the nachos, but I am a big fan of the brisket being on them. Let me tell you that much. So let's go ahead here. All right, isn't that nice? And just sprinkle that around. Get that all over the place, just like that. There we go. And I'll tell you, man, this is a great way to get rid of leftovers if you got it. Chicken, pork, brisket, whatever you got going. So let's follow this over to the Traeger, and let's go ahead and pop that in. Oh, here we go, you guys. Love it. And I've got this set to about 325. I'm going to pop it up to 350. But let's get to it. Okay, so the food we're going to use tonight is gorgeous. This is good stuff. Salsa's nice because it's fresh and it's got that lovely pop. So I got to tell you, go ahead, tomatoes, peppers, all that kind of fun stuff. We've got some jalapenos on there. And what we're going to do, the cilantro is under the pepper because it's so windy out here. I don't want it to fly off. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to take a little bit of garlic olive oil. Now it's easy to find, easy to buy, it's even easier to make. Take some olive oil, put it in a pan, take some garlic, cut it up, throw it in there, simmered for about an hour, nice and low. That's all you really need to do, and that's going to last you quite a while. So one of the things I love about grill mats is when you do put a little bit of oil on there like this, it doesn't just automatically go through, hit the coals, and be all done with it, right? This is going to actually, almost like a griddle, go ahead and keep some of that flavor on there, which I love. So let's go ahead and give this a little bit of Marc's on the Grill, salt, pepper, and garlic. I love it. And let's get that making its way over here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and careful there. Did I bring tongs? What's the matter with me? Oh, I did. And let's go ahead and just start putting this on here. And the whole idea here is just to get a char, right? And what's nice about these, you guys, is this really does give it that nice fire roasted charcoal flavor that you're looking for, but without a lot of the flare-ups. And let's get some peppers on there, just like that. And one of the things you really wouldn't be able to do is the garlic, right? It'd be hard to get the garlic to not fall through those grates. So have a peek there, and I'm gonna give you a nice close look at that again, because I want you to see what's going on in there, guys. And this is really nice. It's actually pretty. This is one of those dishes where it's nice to kind of gather people around, because like I said, the colors pop and it's really fun to look at. So let's have a peek here. All right, we're gonna brown up nice and quick. So while we do that, let's go ahead and take another little bit of this garlic infused oil and get it on here and get it on. Garlic infused oil on garlic. Hello. I think everybody can get on board with that. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Guys, take that in for a second. Isn't that beautiful? Man, grilling doesn't always have to be a big chunk of meat, even though I guess this recipe started with a big chunk of meat. It can be fun stuff too. We don't do a lot of veggie only dishes around here. It's probably not going to change. But that being said, that's okay. So now let's go ahead and, oh my goodness, here we go. All right, lovely. This is really good. Let's turn this over. What I want to do now is bring my cutting board over, because I think, oh yeah, here we go. Now we've got that char that I'm looking for to just give it that extra little bit of pop, all right? And listen, I know you don't have to do this step. I get it, all right? It's just as easy to go ahead and take the peppers and the onions and everything and just pop it in the blender and just be done with it, all right? But if you got the time and you got the equipment and you just want to go ahead and give it that little bit of extra flavor, like that deep char on that garlic, I got to tell you, man, it's worth the price of admission. There we go, and there we go. Back to the blender. Here we go. Guys, have a look at that. Oh yeah, zero in on that. Isn't that pretty? Oh man, that's some colors. Are we raining? Oh my God, it's raining. It wasn't supposed to rain, so we've got umbrellas everywhere. We're fine. I think the smoker's good. Let's have a look in the rain. Oh yeah, we're good. So let's get our salsa ready. All right, guys, so I just had a look. Our nachos are looking terrific. That means the cheese sauce is looking great. So as I load up my blender, up, and like I said, the fact that you took the time to put this in the grill first, holy moly, look at that steam. You ready for this? Guys, I want you to see this. Come on in close. This is so gorgeous. We got a nice shot of this. There we are. That is the reason you take those extra couple of steps, is you get that fire roasted amazingness in your salsa. Isn't that gorgeous, you guys? I love it. The cheese is melted and perfect. See that? All right, then I'm gonna grab the cheese sauce in just a second here. Here we go. Just like that. We'll try not to lose all of our fire roasted over the side. There we are, we got that. And I'm gonna bring this right back. And there we go. Have a look at this, you guys. We got our cheese sauce there. We got our nachos there. The cheese is all melted. We got a nice smoky crisp on the already smoky nachos, which I'm just loving. So guys, here's what we need to do. We need to give this a nice burst of color with some diced tomato. I'll tell you, dicing tomatoes that small in a recipe like this is nice because everybody gets a nice little part of it. So let's go ahead now and take some jalapenos, and let's go ahead and get a nice chop on our jalapenos. There we are. This is, like I said, this is such a fun way to get rid of leftovers. If you've done some chicken, if you've done some pork, if you've done some brisket, you know what? Take a second, like I said, especially if you got the equipment. If you've got a question about anything we've got here, anything we're using, throw it in the comment section. We'd love, love, love to hear from you. We'd love to answer your questions, all right? And this is one of those things where, like I said, if you got the time, you got a couple of extra seconds, and you got one of these smokers out there, you got a big green egg, or you got whatever it is you got, just take that extra time, man. It's what makes the difference between throwing something on the table and being that house that everybody wants to go to and being that experience that everybody wants to have.